Hi folks, good morning, still morning. Welcome to the Ibrox press room ahead of today's final Old Firm of the season, Rangers v Celtic. The league obviously already over, but there's still that kind of buzz you get at any Old Firm game in and around the stadium. Today the team news has just dropped. We're going to speak through that a little bit, and I'll read you both of the teams first. So Rangers line up with Robbie McCrory in goals, a back four of James Tavernier, Connor Goldson, John Susser and Ridvan Yilmaz. Ridvan gets his chance, Barisic also injured, so slightly enforced, but I think the young Turkish international would have played regardless. Slight surprise in the midfield, Lundstrom, Jack and Raskin. Beale's not blessed with options really all over the team today, but especially in the front six, and I think that's reflected by the selection in the midfield and a front three of Cantwell, Matondo and Fashion Jr. So no Alfredo Morelos in the starting lineup, and we'll get into the shape and what that means and how Rangers might look to play in a minute. Pardon me, the subs for Rangers: Alan McGregor, Yanis Hadji, Glenn Kamara, Alfredo Morelos, Scott Arfield, Leon King, Adam Devine, Alex Lowry and Zach Lovelace. The visitors line up: Joe Hart, Ralston, Kobayashi, Starfelt, Burnaby, McGregor, Hatate, O'Reilly, Abada, Jota and also no Kyogo in the starting 11 for Celtic. He's on the bench alongside Bain, Taylor, Haskavanovic, Turnbull, Iwata, Maeda, Forrest and Summers. So firstly, focusing on the Rangers team, I think it's a team that is designed to press the game quite high. I think Rangers will play in probably a narrow 4-3-1-2 shape. In recent Old Firm games, they've went for more of a 4-4-2 off the ball and tried to stop passes into Callum McGregor and press at certain moments. I feel today that it might be a bit more intense and they'll press both the centre-backs from the start. I've got an article on my Twitter page which kind of breaks down what that means a little bit more, perhaps easier than describing it in an article. But starting from the goals, we knew that Robbie McCrory was going to play. I think Beale said last week it was his jersey to lose. He needs to stake a claim for his future at the club. I thought he was impressive last week against Aberdeen, made a big stop at 0-0. He's obviously played in this fixture before, right back at the start of last season, has had to really bide his time to wait for his next opportunity in this fixture. So he continues his place in goals. John Susser obviously comes in for Ben Davies, who went in injured in the game against Aberdeen last weekend. And Ridvan Yilmaz handed his first start in a real big game for Rangers. He's only played away at Napoli, but memory serves me correctly, the Champions League campaign was done by then, very much done. Apart from that, he's only started in 4 league games. He's hardly played. He arrived for a lot of money, a significant outlay of last summer's budget. He's already a full international. He's played in a lot of big games for Besiktas in the Turkish league, which is obviously no stranger to rivalry in football. Interested to see how he gets on today with the ball and without the ball. I think the midfield selection will certainly mean that Tavernier and Ridvan are tasked with getting really high onto the last line at points of the opposition defence. Lundstrom will be that deep line midfielder who makes a back three at points to give Rangers a bit more control and try and help them to play at the back. And I'd imagine that Jack and Raskin will both have a bit more control. Jack, I think, is better box to box at carrying the ball than Lundstrom. And when he's actually on the ball, also a good presser of the ball. So you'd imagine that him and Raskin will both play as slightly ahead with Cantwell at the tip of midfield. It makes sense to have Todd Cantwell higher. Rangers don't have many goals in that team at all. Fashion Sakala at points, you could say he is going to give you the numbers, but I don't think we can confidently say he is on the basis of recent outings against Celtic at Hampden. Wouldn't be surprised if he goes and proves that wrong today and scores, but I guess that it is part of the issue with Sakala, is that you don't quite know what you're going to get with him. Again, makes sense to play Matondo for me because we've not seen him in a game where there's lots of space, and we've hardly seen him play at all. So if he's going to be a part of things next season, then I think this type of game is an opportunity for him to showcase what he's about and try and impress the manager. Again, the shape, I think, will be Matondo and Fashion Jr. I think they'll kind of play as a front two split strikers. I don't think it'll be a back to goal kind of physical striker in the middle like Morelos would have been. I think Rangers will try and press quite aggressively from the start, and it will be a narrow shape. Some surprise that Scott Arfield's not playing. I thought he might play from the start, but he is on the bench alongside others like Yanis Hadji, Glenn Kamara, Alfredo Morelos. I thought he might start after the manager's comments, but he is involved. I think it makes sense to go with a team that is going to run a lot, and a team that certainly that front three, that's a front three that can press intensely. Matondo off the ball, I think he'll give you a lot of intensity and aggression. And for the type of game you'd imagine that Rangers want to play today, I think that will suit them just fine. In terms of the visitors, I don't think there'll be too much in terms of a change of shape. Big changes for them in the back line. 3, I guess, of their first choice starting 11 miss out, with Ralston and Berdabay coming in, and Kobayashi obviously replacing Cameron Carter-Vickers, who's out for the season. A full strength midfield and a forward line that includes a couple of alterations with Abada and O coming in there. But Rangers will have to, I guess, stop Celtic playing by getting in the face of Callum McGregor and trying to stop him getting on the ball and dictating play. I think they've done that relatively well in recent Old Firm games from box to box. It's been fine. It's been in both boxes. Repeated that point. Michael Beale said it all the time. If you don't win the boxes, you're not going to win games of this magnitude, and that is the task for Rangers today. It's not a really important game at all in the grand scheme of things. With that said, I certainly think it would help Beale going into next season to kind of get that Old Firm win, even if it doesn't mean anything in the context of the league, to get that Old Firm win before the end of the season. Right, let's get to a few of the comments before I wrap up. Jack Joy saying no fire at all. Badly needs a new front three in that team. Yeah, it's not a team that's blessed with goals whatsoever. I'll agree with you, Jack, but I guess the issue for Beale is who else does he pick aside from playing Morelos, and he criticised Morelos' effort and energy in the final third last week, and I think for the type of game you'll want today, he needs that, and Matondo and Sakala will give that. Whether they can give the end product remains to be seen. Andrew says, interesting to see if Raskin plays a little bit higher up the pitch. Yeah, he's a few months ago now, when I did a piece with his former manager from last season, one of the points he was keen to emphasize is he's not a player who wants to just sit and dictate the game. He wants to go box to box. And I think even if you think back to the Partick Thistle game, I think it was the first goal, Cholak's goal, he might have assisted. He makes these runs, you'll see, when he's playing at the base of midfield beyond, which are so difficult to track, these midfield runs. Higher up the pitch today, I think you'll see his tendency to try and cross the ball into the box. He likes to try and create in the final thirds, and maybe will be given a little bit more license in there as well. Mac is saying surprised, gone with Lundstrom and Jack, expected Arfield to provide a goal threat. Yeah, equally, I guess if you start Arfield and you don't start Jack, then maybe a lack of a bit of a goal threat off the bench. So maybe there's some thinking in that. Arfield obviously hasn't started many games at all under Beale, and his place is on the bench today. DK saying, why have we gone so defensive? Lundstrom, Jack and Raskin lack creativity. Big pressure on Raskin to make forward passes. Beale hasn't gone with the midfield like this really at all, so I think it is through choice. If you think back to his first Old Firm games, he's not went for Jack, Kamara, Lundstrom. It's always been you think back to the League Cup final, it was Tillman, Lundstrom and Kamara. So probably partly through choice. I think it'll be partly because Raskin and Jack will be quite aggressive with their positioning off the ball and try and press Celtic. It's not a starting 11 that you'd think will be best designed to maybe open up the defence, but maybe that speaks to the type of game that Beale anticipates. It's going to be end-to-end. It's going to be a lot of competing for control, and Rangers definitely have a lot of kind of athleticism in that front six. Finally, one more comment from DK. Hadji or Arfield should have started. Who's going to score? Yeah, again, Hadji still building up to full fitness. Do you trust him in that role, kind of marking Callum McGregor out the game? Cantwell higher makes it, playing higher up the pitch makes a bit more sense to me. Big pressure on him today, absolutely, alongside Raskin, started the Rangers career very, very well. But all Rangers players obviously need big performances in these games. Right, we'll leave it there on my way up to the gantry. We'll be live after the game. Stay with us on Twitter, on the website. Remember, you can subscribe. Just £12 for a whole year over on the website just now. We'll have loads of content, post-match reaction from the game, so do stick with us. Until then, enjoy wherever you're watching it.